There we go. Oh, shit. Oh my fucking god. Okay. Here, I'll just do it this way. Suitable. Slap stack of books. This baby can fit so much buyer's remorse in it. Hello and welcome back to my dungeon, 286 strangers who quietly watch but never speak to me. I'm sure you're not masturbating to these videos. So, have another book haul. Truly, I am going off the rails. I am a beacon of capitalism. So first of all, I'm drinking a gin and ginger ale because I have to have a little drinky drink for every video that I make. I am bleeding profusely. It is freezing outside, and I am gonna be all cozy and talk to you about the books that I got. One of these, actually, I forgot to haul earlier. Another one I presumed was lost in the mail, and then I found out it wasn't, but it came in recently. And the rest of these are actually for school, so this is kind of gonna be like an academic book haul a little bit. I think I'm gonna go into the ones that are not academic first, and then go into the stuff that I bought for my studies for this semester. I have a lot of Victorian era literature, as well as some medieval early modern stuff. Oh, also, I know in my last book haul I said that those were books that you can expect to see me read in the future, near future, because I read through everything I have before I buy new books. This might seem to be disproving of that. Genuinely though, like, I promise I don't normally just like stack purchased books on top of each other without reading them myself, because that's basically how I control my spending on books. So I don't normally do that. The only reason this stack is so ridiculously big is because I'm just reading a shit ton for school this semester. And so what you can expect from either this channel or from my Goodreads account is me talking about the school-related books from this stack, because those are more urgent and I'm actually going to be reading those first. I very unwisely started Aztec by Gary Jennings right before the semester got into full swing, and I'm just now realizing that I probably won't be able to really sink my teeth into that until a while in the future. So, this first book I actually forgot to include in the Christmas haul, which is a great shame because it is probably the most beautiful book that Victor got me. This is the Library of Esoterica Witchcraft Encyclopedia. You can see it is beautiful, like actually stunning, and it's basically an encyclopedia of witchcraft, and I really like it because it is both modern and archaic. So it talks about like modern witchcraft and how it's used as kind of like just a form of like feminist revolution and like female consciousness raising, as well as like connecting it to like really old-timey witchcraft. It's got just like amazing artwork in it, like really high quality stuff with detailed captions and all sorts of stuff. There's a lot of naked women in this, so I'm trying really hard to find stuff that I can show you without getting in trouble, like just really cool stuff. It's a great thing to just like read right before bed, TBH. And then the next thing that I got A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas. This is the third book in the Court of Thorns and Roses series, which I do actually really enjoy. Love me a good fairy tale. This, I think, is gonna be like the last book in this series or in this world that I read, just because I kind of want to move on, and I don't really like to commit to like series that drag on and on and on ad infinitum. I know this is the last one that follows Feyre, so this is probably going to be the last one in this series that I read. I do highly recommend this series. It's not overrated. Like, it is popular for a reason. Alright, God, where do I start? I guess I'll just probably go down the rest of the pile. First, we have William Morris, News from Nowhere. This is for a Victorian literature class that I am taking this semester. Oh, and it's like a futuristic novel. So the novel describes the encounter between a visitor from the 19th century, William Guest, and a decentralized and humane socialist future. So, super political, definitely seems super interesting. I love reading like futuristic stuff from the past, like very far in the past. Yeah, so that is news from nowhere. And then I have Henry James's Robert Hudson, also for the Victorian class. Our summary on the back says, and I'm sorry, I just have to do it off of the summary for these because the reason I'm in a Victorian literature class is because I know like next to nothing about the Victorian era. So here we have Roderick Hudson, egotistical, beautiful, and an exceptionally gifted sculptor, but poor, is taken from New England to Rome by a rich man of fine, appreciative sensibilities, who intends to give Roderick the scope to develop his genius. Together they seem like twins or lovers, opposing halves of what should have been an ideal whole. Roderick Hudson contains the obsessions that inspired all James's fiction, but put across with simple force and fire that he never quite caught again. We love a fallen hero. It is about art, and it sounds glorious. Oh, and by the way, if you're wondering, this stack of books doesn't even cover everything that I'm going to be reading this semester in terms of, like, books. There are several things that I have on ebook that I'm just doing via ebook instead, and then there also are some things that I already had copies of that I'm going to be rereading off of my bookshelf, so... And then I have Virginia Woolf's, I think this is sort of a biography by her, or autobiography, I guess. Autofiction. It says it's somewhat fictional. The story of Elizabeth Barrett Browning's Cocker Spaniel Flush is one of the most unusual and pleasing of Virginia Woolf's books and was the first of her only 2 creations in the biographical form. This sounds super interesting. This is going to be the 3rd thing by Woolf that I've read. Alright, this next is really freaking weird. It's like an early modern proto-feminist text by someone who writes under the pseudonym Jane Anger. And if you don't know what early modern is, it's like Shakespeare's time. Jane Anger's Protection for Women, and I just wanted to get a copy of it so I could start familiarizing myself with like proto-feminist texts from that time. But this copy that I found... No. I have no clue who this man is. He has like the actual text, and then he has like his translation into like modern English of it. There is like no introduction by like another scholar or anyone in the field. The introduction is by Martin Farrell, and it is also published by the Martin Farrell Company. I'm wondering if this might be Martin Farrell himself. Does anyone have any clue what might be going on with this? Why is there a picture of like a random man on this like hundreds and hundreds of years old feminist text? So yeah, this basically is a rant response by a woman who calls herself Jane Anger, and it's in response to a pamphlet that's been lost to time. It's called, Book His Surfeit in Love, which outlines the complaints against women of a surfeiting lover rendered in this modern edition as an overindulging lover who is gorged on sex. So it's this guy basically complaining that women are too loose and he is ruined because he's addicted to sex and blah, 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 and all the problems with women. And we've lost that pamphlet, perhaps for the best. And we just have Jane Anger's response to it. So rare case, I guess, of women getting to write history. Yeah, so I have Jane Anger's Protection for Women in an extremely weird format. And then I have Hard Times by Charles Dickens, and this is another kind of like Marxist text, at least from what I've like seen about it or read about it. I'm starting this one very shortly. So it is a critique of the economy he believed exploited the lives of the working class, destroying human creativity and joy in the process. He brilliantly caricatures the monotony of an increasingly practical world where facts are amassed for their own sake at the expense of a more human and varied existence. So that is Hard Times by Charles Dickens. This will be the second Dickens that I've ever read and the first one that I have ever read as an adult. And then I have one that I've already started and I have been loving to death. This is Mary Elizabeth Braddon's Lady Audley's Secret, and oh my god, it is amazing so far. I think I found a new like favorite author for myself. We'll see how I feel when I finish it. I'm like 100 pages in so far, and I am overwhelmed by how amazing this is. Super like shockingly feminist text though, at least so far. So this is about a woman who This is about a woman who secretly has 2 husbands, and she basically kills the first one in order to be able to freely marry the second one. So it is super scandalous and bloody. It's basically Gone Girl from the Victorian era. Next, I got a brick for using during yoga. Just kidding. This is The Anatomy of Melancholy by Robert Burton. This is an early modern text that is basically an encyclopedia on melancholy, but it also has just a lot of random like intellectual digressions into big questions of the time, and it has a lot of endnotes. So it isn't quite so big as it looks. I won't be reading this one cover to cover. It's not really that kind of text. Glad to finally have my own copy of this. All right, and then I got an Oscar Wilde collection. Yeah, I just got a Penguin Classics like collection of Oscar Wilde stuff. It has The Importance of Being Earnest. I think it's Salome that we're reading. I am not going to be reading this entire thing cover to cover. I just got it because I thought it would be good for reference, and it had one thing in it that I needed. All of my like books that I got kind of go together. I have like a lot of Penguin Classics, and they all are like really matchy and nice. I didn't intend that. I literally just bought them all used and got like the cheapest copy of each. So next we have George Eliot's The Mill on the Floss, and it is a vivid portrayal of childhood and adolescence in rural England from 1860. It centers on Maggie Tulliver, whose passionate and imaginative nature brings her into conflict with the middle-class narrowness of St. Ogg's and, more poignantly, with her beloved brother Tom. The result is one of George Eliot's best-loved works containing an affectionate and perceptive study of provincial life, a brilliant evocation of the complexities of human relationships, and a heroine whose rebellious spirit closely resembles George Eliot's own. I'm pretty sure George Eliot was actually a woman, yeah, when she began. So this is a pseudonym by a woman. And then these last two are actually for a class I'm taking on medieval travel literature. So I got the Book of John Mandeville with related texts, and it's a fictive traveler's guide to the East, both near and far, and it was a late medieval bestseller. And then I also got the narrative of Cabeza de Vaca. So this is an account of the 1527 Panfilo de Narvaez expedition to North America. It tells the story of some of the first Europeans and the first known African to encounter the North American wilderness and its native inhabitants. It's a fascinating tale of survival against the highest odds, and it highlights Native Americans and their interactions with the newcomers in a manner seldom seen in writings of the period. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure in this one, the colonists get sold into slavery by the natives, and they end up going from tribe to tribe just as they're bought and sold. I could be wrong. I might be thinking of a different one that we're reading this year. So I'm really excited to read this. I've never really read like direct accounts of like colonization exploration before. I am thinking that will be quite interesting. Well, that's it. That's all I've got for you. I hope you've enjoyed. If I am a little quiet on YouTube for a little bit, it is because I am busy working my way through all of these, and I obviously am unable to film and edit. I do have something rather glorious planned out for the end of the semester. I do have like kind of a more extensive review, which you want to be here for. It is literally, I shit you not, the most insane book I've probably ever read in my life. Like, it's to the point where, like, it has been bringing out the conspiracist in me, like, wondering what the hell happened, what is wrong with the author. If you think that, like, a Colleen Hoover book is the definition of scandalous, your mind is going to be blown by this book that I am going to talk to you about. Like, you literally will not be able to believe your eyes. I know I recently started a series on this channel called Actually It's Good. This book is going to be the beginning of a co-series, which I am going to call Actually It's Worse Than We Ever Could Have Imagined. So look forward to that once I've got time to put it together. I've got it all scripted and planned out. So all I really need to do is film and have some good quality time to edit. Look forward to that. I hope if you're in school, your semester is going well. And if you're not, well, lucky you. Yeah, that's it. I'm gonna finish my gin and ginger beer. And I'm gonna put my books away and scoot out of frame, I guess. Bye.